Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my first episode. So, this is anterior setting, okay, using OCR as a guide. Okay, this one is properly adjusted with the midline, high lip line, and the intercanine distance. So, these are the instruments that I'm going to use. Of course, my carvers, and this is my set of denture teeth. Okay, with wax, of course, I'll be using this one, and what else? Of course, my alcohol lamp. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set one by one, okay, from central incisor up to canine, okay, from upper anteriors, okay, down to the lower anterior tip. Okay, now before we start, please take a look at this drawings. Okay, this is the first one. Now, if you would look at here, okay, this is how you set central incisor. You have to make it straight, okay, down from cervical down to the incisal edges, and then you have to follow, okay, the occlusal plane. Now, there's an option, okay, where in the incisal edge you may set it 0.5 to 1 millimeter below, okay, the occlusal plane, or you may set it exactly on the occlusal plane, okay, and then the lateral should be set 0.5 or 1 millimeter above, okay, from the occlusal plane, or above the incisal edges of central incisor and the canine, okay, and then the canine also follows the occlusal plane, wherein the tip should be positioned exactly on the occlusal plane. Now take a look at the inclination of the lateral and canine. Okay, the lateral incisor is distally inclined, okay, compared to central incisor. This one is a little bit straight. Okay, lateral is distally inclined at the neck portion. Even the canine is distally inclined, or you may set it straight. Okay, it depends on the space, okay, that will be created upon setting the premolar area. Okay, and then if you would take a look at this one, okay, let's say for example this is your OCR. Okay, that's the OCR. Okay, you're not supposed to set, okay, the central incisor, lateral, or canine labial to your occlusal contour, or the labial contour, okay, of the OCR. Okay, take note, okay, that this OCR is properly adjusted based on the proper lip support of the patient. So you have to cut portion of a wax, okay, portion of a wax, so that you'll be able to embed, okay, the denture teeth, okay, within, okay, the contour, or the labial contour, okay, of the OCR. Okay, labial, you have to follow, okay, the contour, and then the lateral is a little bit in, okay, compared to central and canine, and then you follow, okay, the contour of the wax posteriorly, okay, because this will be your guide in setting, okay, the posterior teeth. Now, okay, once you're done setting the posterior, or I mean the anterior teeth, okay, as you would look at this area. Okay, if this is your first premolar, second premolar, first molar, and then second molar, okay, from the incisal tip of the canine, okay, the occlusal tips, okay, of the premolars and molars will also follow, okay, the occlusal plane. Okay, so like what I've said, OCR is used as a guide for setting, okay, artificial teeth. Now take a look at this portion. Okay, this is the proximal view, okay, of central incisor, okay, wherein the incisal 2/3, okay, is parallel to the incisal pin. Okay, it should be parallel, and then the neck portion is a little bit in, okay, neck in, and then 2/3 must be parallel with the incisal pin, and that is for the central incisor. Now take a look at the lateral. Okay, the lateral incisor is set inward, okay, compared to your central incisor. Okay, incisal is above the occlusal plane, while canine is set where in the cervical third is a little bit out, and then the incisal third is in, okay, just to make it a feminine look setting, okay, of the canine. Now let's proceed with the actual setting, okay, of the artificial teeth. Now this is a mounted cast with OCR, Okay, assuming that this one came from patient's mouth. Okay, you have to create an outline. Okay, first one is a midline. Okay, that's the midline. This one is the high lip line. Okay, that will determine the cervical incisal height, okay, of a denture teeth. And this one is your intercanine distance, which is your guide in selecting, okay, the artificial teeth for the mesial-distal width of all the anterior teeth. Now, if this is the OCR properly adjusted, okay, if you're going to set teeth, you have to cut portion of wax, okay, for you to be able to embed, okay, the artificial teeth. You're not supposed to place it on top, okay, you're not supposed to place it on top, okay, or labial, okay, to the OCR. Okay, you have to cut a portion of the wax, okay, for you to be able to embed. Okay, take note on this. Okay, always clean, okay, the lingual portion of the artificial teeth before you start setting. Okay, you have to remove those sticky wax, okay, using cotton. Okay, you just have to wipe. Everything must be cleaned, okay, before start setting. Okay, the first thing that you have to do before you start setting is you have to seal, okay, your record base, okay, on the wax. I mean on the cast. Okay, just to make sure that this one will not move, okay, whenever you are setting artificial teeth or denture teeth. Okay, upper and lower must be properly sealed. Okay, and then second, okay, I want you to cut a portion of a wax. Okay, just enough space for you to be able to set, okay, the central incisor. Okay, cut this area. Of course, you have to maintain, okay, the midline. Okay, always maintain the midline. Okay, that's why we extended, okay, the lines. Okay, there. And then check first if you can easily embed, okay, the central incisor. Okay, it should be within the contour, okay, of the OCR. So what I'm going to do is to hit, okay, a portion, okay, of this wax, so that I'll be able to embed, okay, this central incisor properly using the incisal edge. I mean, holding, okay, this incisal edge of the central incisor, you can easily position, okay, the central incisor, okay, exactly on the OCR. Okay, always maintain again the midline. Okay, so okay, once you properly position the central incisor, okay, you just have to seal, okay, the cervical portion, not the entire wax, not the entire surface of the denture teeth. And then check the inclination. It should be straight up and down. Okay, it follows the contour, okay, of the OCR. Okay, looking from this side. Okay, and then from incisal view or occlusal view, okay, it also follows the contour of the OCR. Okay, it should be within. And then you may now seal the lingual portion. Okay, removing the excess wax. Okay, that's for the central. Now I'm going to set another central incisor, okay, so that I'll be able to maintain the midline and of course maintain the labial contour. And then try to view it from the incisal view. Has to be symmetrical. Sorry for that. And then you may use your carver. Okay, if you want to adjust the inclination, you just have to push a little bit distal. Okay, remove some part, excess wax, and then move this a little bit distal. Okay, for you to be able to do that, okay, you have to soften, okay, a little bit of wax, okay, on the mesial and distal side. Okay, so that you'll be able to fix it there, and then this area a little bit there. Okay, so that's for the two central incisor. Now next is the lateral incisor. Okay, now for the lateral, same technique. Okay, use your carver, soften the wax. And then set the lateral incisor. Again, the lateral incisor should be set 0.5 to 1 millimeter above, okay, the central incisor, and then a little bit in, neck in, incisal third in. Okay, view it incisal view. Okay, it should be a little bit in compared to the central incisor. Okay, and then distally inclined. Okay, make it distally inclined. Okay, neck should be distally inclined. There. Okay, just a little distally inclined. Okay, neck in, incisal third in compared to the central incisor. And of course, the lateral, the canine. Okay, canine should be set neck out, incisal third in, and then incisal tip, okay, follows, okay, the occlusal plane. There. And then again, you have to seal the cervical portion. And then, okay, remove some part, okay, on the lingual area. And then wait for it to set. Okay, so central incisor is set straight up and down. Okay, straight up and down. and then the lateral is distally inclined, same as the canine. It's distally inclined, but look at the incisal edges. Okay, it follows the occlusal plane. Okay, all the tips, central, canine, except for the lateral, it should be 0.5 or 1 millimeter above. Okay, above the occlusal plane. Okay, or above the incisal edges of the canine and central incisor. Now you may also use your Fox plane, okay, to check, okay, whether, okay, the incisal edges, okay, are on the level, okay, of the occlusal plane. Okay, I only use this ruler to check. Okay, if all the incisal edges and tips, okay, of the central and lateral are in contact, okay, on this plane. Okay, now if there is a need for you to adjust, then you just simply push a little distally, incisally. Okay, now I'm going to set the other side, okay, before I start setting the lower anterior. Now after setting okay, the 6 anterior teeth, if you want to check the proper alignment, okay, of individual teeth, okay, you just have to use your pencil, okay, to outline, okay, the incisal edges, okay, the incisal edges of each tooth, and then you'll be able to see, okay, which one is out of the arch. Okay, so all the lines should be connected, okay, from central, okay, from central incisors to lateral and then canine. So distal of the central, mesial of the lateral, distal of the lateral, and then mesial of the canine. Okay, so they are all connected. So if one of those line is not connected, meaning, okay, one of the tooth is not properly set. Okay, now again, let's check, okay, the setting. Okay, that's for the upper anterior. Okay, there are some technique wherein some technicians, okay, they start setting the lower anterior first, okay, before the upper. Okay, it's a good technique though. Okay, what we follow in school is we always start setting on the upper, okay, because of the OCR, simply because we were able to adjust properly the OCR based on the proper lip support. So we want to maintain, okay, the lip support, okay, that is recorded, okay, by the OCR. That's why we always start on the upper. You may set, okay, the 2 central incisors, and then you may start setting the lower. That's another technique. Or you may set all the anterior teeth and then set the lower anteriors. Okay, so now I'm going to proceed, okay, with the setting of the lower anteriors. So again, okay, let me just reiterate this. Okay, after setting the upper anterior, it doesn't mean that this is the already the setting. You may still adjust the setting of, okay, the upper anteriors based on the setting of the lower. Okay, especially the canine. Okay, because for the lower, okay, we're actually following the neutral zone line. Okay, okay, the neutral zone line, we're in the distal, okay, surface of the canine, okay, follows, okay, the neutral zone line. So it will all depend, okay, after setting the lower anteriors, if there's a need, okay, to adjust the upper canine. Okay, that is based on the overjet overbite relationship. Okay, okay, so let's begin with the lower anteriors. Okay, make an outline first for the midline, okay, for the lower. Okay, we already have a guide, okay, for the midline. This is the upper midline. Of course, the lower midline will also follow. Okay, so same technique or same procedure. Clean, okay, all, okay, denture teeth on the lingual surface. Remove all the sticky wax before you start setting. Now again, I'm going to hit, okay, the surface, okay, with OCR just to make it a little bit soft, okay, so that I'll be able to set, okay, the anteriors properly following the overjet overbite relationship. Or you may also use the chart, okay, that I gave you, Okay, first I'm going to set 2 central incisor, again to maintain the midline. Okay, first central incisor. Okay, you just have to position it here and then check the midline and overjet relationship. Okay, and then check the incisors, check the midline and the overbite. It should be at least 1 to 2 millimeters only. Okay, check midline. And then seal. And then try to make some adjustment if there's a little bit discrepancy in setting. Okay, if you can see a diamond, okay, between the upper and lower, it will form like a diamond, okay, between the upper and lower 2 central incisor if you view it incisally. Okay. Okay, there. Okay, so that is for the 2 central incisor. And next is okay, the lateral incisor. Okay, next is the lateral incisor. Again, soften the wax a little and then set it straight or distally inclined. There, maintain the overjet relationship. And then canine. Now this is the critical part, okay, setting the lower canine. Take note, okay, that we are following the neutral zone. Okay, we're in the distal surface of the lower canine follows the distal, or I mean the neutral zone. Again, soften. Okay, it's really hard to set artificial teeth if the wax is hard. Okay, so you have to make sure, okay, that the wax is really soft. Now, take a look at this portion. Okay, the distal, okay, of lower canine, okay, distal surface. Okay, that's the distal surface of the lower canine follows, okay, the neutral zone line. Okay, that is why it is very important that you should always extend your line, okay, on the cast. Okay, so that's the neutral zone, and this is my distal surface, okay, of the lower canine. So I'm going to seal this, and I still maintain a good overjet relationship, okay, between the upper and lower canine. Okay, if I'm using a semi-adjustable articulator, I can check, okay, the what we call the group contact. Okay, if there is canine guidance, I still need to adjust the setting. I'll make it a little bit lower. Okay, the setting of the K9. Okay, so I'm going to reheat. Okay, and then try to position it again, neck in, I mean neck out in size altered in. There. Okay, so there is now what we call group contact, okay, between K9 lateral and central. Okay, that's a class 1 K9. Okay, we're in the mesial slope, okay, of the lower K9 falls on the distal slope of lower K9. Okay, so I'll just try to adjust a little on the K9, okay, just to lessen, okay, the amount of overjet. Just a little adjustment. Okay, there. Okay, that's enough. And then I'm going to set the other side, okay, of the anterior teeth, okay, of the lower. Okay, so we're done setting the upper and lower anterior teeth. Now for adjustment, okay, okay, of the setting, okay, the reason why I did not seal, okay, the entire surface of okay, the artificial teeth, so that I'll be able to see, okay, the individual inclination, okay, of each tooth, and for me to be able to adjust it easily, okay, by just simply softening or heating the wax. Okay, so if I want to adjust the tooth central incisor, okay, I want to make it a little bit longer, okay, I will just simply use a carver, okay, push it towards the neck portion, and if you want to put it downward, you just have to push a little and then push down a little. Okay, of course maintain, okay, the overjet overbite relationship. Okay, there should be no contact, okay, on the anterior. Okay, you have to maintain that. There. Okay, no contact on the anteriors, okay, with overjet overbite relationship. So there you go. That's for, okay, the setting, okay, of anteriors. And try to reduce or remove, okay, some wax on the labial portion, so that when you do your anterior try-in, okay, the patient would appreciate, okay, your setting. And then try to use your torch and then use a cotton, okay, to wipe. Now I'm going to add wax, okay, on the cervical area, okay, just to make sure that this one will not move, okay, whenever I do festooning or setting of the posterior. Okay, and then check the incisal pin. Okay, make sure that there was no increase, okay, in the vertical dimension of occlusion. Okay, it's still in contact. And then wait for it to set so we can do initial festooning, okay, of the anterior setting. Okay, so let's do initial festooning, okay, by curving, okay, the wax to simulate, okay, the gingiva. Okay, let's try to remove or cut, okay, the wax up to the cervical portion of denture teeth. Okay, and then pass it over the flame and then wipe using cotton, okay, to remove wax residue. It should look shiny, okay, which means that there's no more wax residue, okay, on the surface of the teeth. Okay. Okay, just be careful, in doing this. Okay, you might alter, okay, the setting. Okay, so we're done with anterior setting. Okay, so the next procedure is anterior try-in, okay, inside the patient's mouth. So if there would be any adjustment, then you may adjust the setting. But if there's none, then we may now proceed with, okay, the posterior setting. Okay, so that's gonna be my next presentation. Okay, the posterior setting.